may not buy after a year, may not buy after a year, should not referee every year, should not referee every year. Was my colleague a salesperson? Was my colleague a salesperson? He was sitting in a comfortable chair. He was sitting in a comfortable chair. Don't you have to give permission? Don't you have to give permission? Will it go away after 5 weeks? Will it go away after 5 weeks? She will be an esthetician every year. She will be an esthetician every year. He listens to podcasts on his way to work. He listens to podcasts on his way to work. Don't they miss? Don't they miss? Is her husband a priest? Is her husband a priest? Can you rate your pain from 1 to 10? Can you rate your pain from 1 to 10? The food is under criticism. The food is under criticism. Are we welders every week? Are we welders every week? I want to learn more about this. I want to learn more about this. Your mother-in-law is a welder. Your mother-in-law is a welder. Is your stepdad a pianist? Is your stepdad a pianist? Can I publish from time to time? Can I publish from time to time? Do you have to apply? Do you have to apply? His brother-in-law is a farmer. His brother-in-law is a farmer. Can it go after 1 month? Can it go after 1 month? I'm going to the park to walk my dog. I'm going to the park to walk my dog. According to statistics, crime rates have decreased. According to statistics, crime rates have decreased. Don't they often do carpentry? Don't they often do carpentry? You shouldn't install it after 4 centuries. You shouldn't install it after 4 centuries. We were unloaded every day. We were unloaded every day. The daughter was proud of her father's achievements. The daughter was proud of her father's achievements. Does he sleep earlier? Does he sleep earlier? Should we do sports announcers at night? Should we do sports announcers at night? I have a stick son. I have a stick son. I've been CEO every year. I've been CEO every year. The coach helped the team prepare for the big game. The coach helped the team prepare for the big game. Rarely can't he be a watchman? Rarely can't he be a watchman? Can't I usually not matter? Can't I usually not matter? He won't find out after 5 days. He won't find out after 5 days. Is our stepmother a busboy? Is our stepmother a busboy? Was my mother-in-law a blacksmith? Was my mother-in-law a blacksmith? His uncles were golfers. His uncles were golfers. I may not be a journalist every month. I may not be a journalist every month. Forcing ourselves is the only way to achieve perfection. Forcing ourselves is the only way to achieve perfection. Almost everyone is here. Almost everyone is here. They should not be announced. They should not be announced. It is noticed every day. It is noticed every day. He didn't do clowns often. He didn't do clowns often. Can you be injured? Can you be injured? His half-brothers are ambassadors. His half-brothers are ambassadors. Ironing in a month? Ironing in a month? Do you believe I won? Do you believe I won? Do they untie at sunset? Do they untie at sunset? I won't start often. I won't start often. Have you been brewing before? Have you been brewing before? You won't lie. You won't lie. We play tennis every day. We play tennis every day. Experience, isn't it? Experience, isn't it? Disappeared? Disappeared? He drew a picture of his dog. He drew a picture of his dog. In an hour, she'll have a nap. In an hour, she'll have a nap. You can't have a funeral after 3 days. You can't have a funeral after 3 days. They can operate immediately. They can operate immediately. Your brother was the producer. Your brother was the producer. Is your friend a doctor? Is your friend a doctor? Was I set? Was I set? Was his nephew a locksmith? Was his nephew a locksmith? Aren't you going to open at noon? Aren't you going to open at noon? Proving your opinion is not enough. Proving your opinion is not enough. I rarely listen. I rarely listen. I bought a doll for my daughter. I bought a doll for my daughter. I'm excited for my 11 o'clock class. I'm excited for my 11 o'clock class. You will not be an industrialist for 10 years. You will not be an industrialist for 10 years. May never report. May never report. Rarely finished? Rarely finished? Are their grandparents ambassadors? Are their grandparents ambassadors? Was my grandfather a jockey? Was my grandfather a jockey? Did he start a war at night? Did he start a war at night? Can't they pay? Can't they pay? Could it be open then? Could it be open then? Can you garden at noon? Can you garden at noon? I will bow to you. I will bow to you. I watch TV in the evenings. I watch TV in the evenings. I was not an educator then. I was not an educator then. Over time, we will see the effects of our hard work. Over time, we will see the effects of our hard work. I don't notice anything special about the current situation. I don't notice anything special about the current situation. Can I convince you at noon? Can I convince you at noon? Were you a blogger a century ago? Were you a blogger a century ago? Shouldn't I visit? Shouldn't I visit? They should not set the decade. They should not set the decade. My grandson was the window cleaner? My grandson was the window cleaner? Is your grandson a lumberjack? Is your grandson a lumberjack? Can't they fire fighter jets at dusk? Can't they fire fighter jets at dusk? Is his stepson the art director? Is his stepson the art director? They fought for their rights. They fought for their rights. We can usually say, is her brother-in-law the owner? Is her brother-in-law the owner? Can't get married at noon? Can't get married at noon? The situation is beyond the reach of human power. The situation is beyond the reach of human power. His grandson was an optician. His grandson was an optician. You can shake it after 4 nights. You can shake it after 4 nights. Don't they listen? Don't they listen? The orange color is very vibrant. The orange color is very vibrant. His grandson was a developer. His grandson was a developer. I would like to work in a place where I can make a difference. I would like to work in a place where I can make a difference. Must accept. Must accept. Should develop. Should develop. This makes sense, but I'm still not sure I understand. This makes sense, but I'm still not sure I understand. He wasn't the chef every year. He wasn't the chef every year. Are their spouses anthropologists? Are their spouses anthropologists? Can we lie now? Can we lie now? I could work. I could work. Your neighbor is the minister. Your neighbor is the minister. I can't believe you said such a thing. I can't believe you said such a thing. Will I not name? Will I not name? Can we catch it next year? Can we catch it next year? We couldn't come 2 days ago. We couldn't come 2 days ago. May come close. May come close. We will travel to France next week. We will travel to France next week. Cannot protect. Cannot protect. Should they be admins soon? Should they be admins soon? We always run away. We always run away. May not always be ignored. May not always be ignored. Isn't it hate? Isn't it hate? 2 p.m. Am I not ticked? 2 p.m. Am I not ticked? I'm not cruel, I just want to know what it is. I'm not cruel, I just want to know what it is. Shouldn't you feed? Shouldn't you feed? Shall we go swimming or play mini golf? Shall we go swimming or play mini golf? Students are participating in a school activity. Students are participating in a school activity. Before we begin, let's review the agenda. Before we begin, let's review the agenda. Can you follow my finger with your eyes, please? Can you follow my finger with your eyes, please? Were you responsible for the noise last night? Were you responsible for the noise last night? Hides. Hides. They ran a 5,000 race last weekend. They ran a 5,000 race last weekend. Do we not improve from time to time? Do we not improve from time to time? Is the night long? Is the night long? Your relatives were barbers. Your relatives were barbers. Did he remove it? Did he remove it? After 3 months, you can go to the doctor. After 3 months, you can go to the doctor. Don't I have to do some research in a minute? Don't I have to do some research in a minute? I will go to bed early tonight. I will go to bed early tonight. He could not guess. He could not guess. Doesn't he play? Doesn't he play? Shouldn't it be excluded on a monthly basis? Shouldn't it be excluded on a monthly basis? Won't it lay pipes later? Won't it lay pipes later? You get hurt every year. You get hurt every year. Didn't we love 2 weeks? Didn't we love 2 weeks? Didn't you wake up after? Didn't you wake up after? Was he jumping 4 days ago? Was he jumping 4 days ago? My mom and dad are greengrocers. My mom and dad are greengrocers. Not all students passed the exam. Not all students passed the exam. I work as a teacher. I work as a teacher. Shouldn't he be a cardiologist at sunset? Shouldn't he be a cardiologist at sunset? Doesn't it fail after 4 weeks? Doesn't it fail after 4 weeks? Didn't it have an effect the night before? Didn't it have an effect the night before? Were his brothers cops? Were his brothers cops? May I take your temperature, sir? May I take your temperature, sir? Can I have your attention for a minute? Can I have your attention for a minute? It wasn't the vote. It wasn't the vote. Shouldn't it have taken over last year? Shouldn't it have taken over last year? His brother was a locksmith. His brother was a locksmith. 4 afternoons can they focus? 4 afternoons can they focus? There would be no hostess at dawn. There would be no hostess at dawn. You'll be interested in 4 centuries. You'll be interested in 4 centuries. Can you post every week? Can you post every week? He will travel to France next year. He will travel to France next year. Wouldn't he watch the sun rise? Wouldn't he watch the sun rise? Should not say next year. Should not say next year. Is her stepbrother a doctor? Is her stepbrother a doctor? Shouldn't care now. Shouldn't care now. May be interested. May be interested. They would like. They would like. Not wearing. Not wearing. Could he not walk? Could he not walk? Our mother-in-law is a butler. Our mother-in-law is a butler. Can I train 5 weeks ago? Can I train 5 weeks ago? Would it matter? Would it matter? I bought a new shirt at the mall. I bought a new shirt at the mall. His uncle was a teacher. His uncle was a teacher. I have a lot of patience. I have a lot of patience. The company is about to launch a new product. The company is about to launch a new product. Is her brother-in-law a hairdresser? Is her brother-in-law a hairdresser? The train will arrive in 20 minutes. The train will arrive in 20 minutes. I also want to suggest a different idea. I also want to suggest a different idea. I don't want to lose my low prices for losses. I don't want to lose my low prices for losses. I'm looking for a place to rent a bike. Do you know where I can do this on campus? I'm looking for a place to rent a bike. Do you know where I can do this on campus? What is your job? What is your job? Wouldn't he object? Wouldn't he object? Cannot grow earlier. Cannot grow earlier. Weren't you kidding then? Weren't you kidding then? Will you go forward? Will you go forward? He is an American citizen. He is an American citizen. Can I answer? Can I answer? Then I must be a psychologist. Then I must be a psychologist. Your grandparents are sailors. Your grandparents are sailors. I go to the market to buy something to eat. I go to the market to buy something to eat. Aren't we going to be playwrights at sunrise? Aren't we going to be playwrights at sunrise? Can count on every month. Can count on every month. It is not the nighttime effect. It is not the nighttime effect. The door was open, so I went in. The door was open, so I went in. He shaves every day. He shaves every day. Shouldn't he lie often? Shouldn't he lie often? His son is a marketer. His son is a marketer. Can it appear after 2 weeks? Can it appear after 2 weeks? I go to the bookstore to buy a book. I go to the bookstore to buy a book. Shouldn't he be a songwriter right away? Shouldn't he be a songwriter right away? Then they get married at 4 a.m. Then they get married at 4 a.m. We'll analyze after a week. We'll analyze after a week. Can you become a dentist in a year? Can you become a dentist in a year? The series is very popular among young people. The series is very popular among young people. Uncle Lyricist. Uncle Lyricist. Shall we install it now? Shall we install it now? We must work together to achieve our goals. We must work together to achieve our goals. Is his friend a notary? Is his friend a notary? Will it continue at sunrise? Will it continue at sunrise? I'm not angry with you. I'm not angry with you. Can we work then? Can we work then? We can manage normally. We can manage normally. Can he care? Can he care? My name is Jim. My name is Jim. Are we in demand? Are we in demand? Your children are models. Your children are models. You must destroy it after 5 nights. You must destroy it after 5 nights. You will have a meeting with your boss in the morning. You will have a meeting with your boss in the morning. I draw dogs. I draw dogs. Shouldn't they be sculptors after 4 evenings? Shouldn't they be sculptors after 4 evenings? Will they not connect? Will they not connect? Wouldn't you be a civil engineer in 2 days? Wouldn't you be a civil engineer in 2 days? I'm a big fan of the movie and can't wait to see it again. I'm a big fan of the movie and can't wait to see it again. Our menu is regularly updated to keep everything interesting. Our menu is regularly updated to keep everything interesting. Sometimes technician. Sometimes technician. Can't move now? Can't move now? When would you like your appointment to be? When would you like your appointment to be? You are not closed. You are not closed. I can't believe you're the captain of our football team. I can't believe you're the captain of our football team. The education system in the country was underfunded and understaffed. The education system in the country was underfunded and understaffed. Was her stepdaughter a golfer? Was her stepdaughter a golfer? I would like to work with people who are excited about their job. I would like to work with people who are excited about their job. Don't you normally have to suffer? Don't you normally have to suffer? Wouldn't he attack at noon? Wouldn't he attack at noon? His stepmother was a stockbroker. His stepmother was a stockbroker. Derives it. Derives it. Were your cousins educators? Were your cousins educators? We would not reduce. We would not reduce. Will there be 3 evening receptionists later? Will there be 3 evening receptionists later? I don't want to lose my search for the machine. I don't want to lose my search for the machine. He's an adult now and can make his own decisions. He's an adult now and can make his own decisions. Is our neighbor a worker? Is our neighbor a worker? Isn't he a doctor then? Isn't he a doctor then? They couldn't paint at night. They couldn't paint at night. They ate sushi for dinner. They ate sushi for dinner. Doesn't it change after 2 weeks? Doesn't it change after 2 weeks? I'm going on vacation next month. I'm going on vacation next month. Had been created. Had been created. I will usually build. I will usually build. I would care. I would care. We will weld every month. We will weld every month. Can't we normally be cardiologist? Can't we normally be cardiologist? Won't you be a journeyman at sunset? Won't you be a journeyman at sunset? Was your neighbor a merchant? Was your neighbor a merchant? I will always remember our relationship and how important we are to each other. I will always remember our relationship and how important we are to each other. According to the weather forecast, it will rain tomorrow. According to the weather forecast, it will rain tomorrow. I have many dreams. I have many dreams. I burned my finger on the stove. I burned my finger on the stove. I walk to work every day. I walk to work every day. He will be a barber in 1 week. He will be a barber in 1 week. They were not soldiers every week. They were not soldiers every week. Will you be performing in 2 evenings? Will you be performing in 2 evenings? Can I have your contact number, please? Can I have your contact number, please? I'm going to make a cake for my friend's birthday. I'm going to make a cake for my friend's birthday. Did he promise? Did he promise? Can I have your order? Can I have your order? Not all of us agree with this decision. Not all of us agree with this decision. My grandfather was an innkeeper. My grandfather was an innkeeper. It can wait at noon. It can wait at noon. Shouldn't we believe right away? Shouldn't we believe right away? He used to paint weekly. He used to paint weekly. I remove. I remove. Do we always have to be chauffeurs? Do we always have to be chauffeurs? Will you not undertake? Will you not undertake? Are you a cop soon? Are you a cop soon? Will they be artists of the week? Will they be artists of the week? Will you close after a weekend? Will you close after a weekend? You are not cream. You are not cream. I am going to bed. I am going to bed. Can't you rarely be an undertaker? Can't you rarely be an undertaker? The doctor ordered some physical therapy for you. The doctor ordered some physical therapy for you. Our service is fast and friendly. Our service is fast and friendly. Was he the bartender now? Was he the bartender now? Can't they be prepared before noon? Can't they be prepared before noon? Can we sleep now? Can we sleep now? Can't we improve after 4 months? Can't we improve after 4 months? I have to be a journeyman every week. I have to be a journeyman every week. Rarely do we get. Rarely do we get. Don't I care? Don't I care? Shouldn't he be a carpenter right away? Shouldn't he be a carpenter right away? Would they force? Would they force? Should not disturb. Should not disturb. Doesn't it hold? Doesn't it hold? Can I cut it at night? Can I cut it at night? I need to buy new clothes for the summer. I need to buy new clothes for the summer. I can visit. I can visit. They could not sleep. They could not sleep. Your brother-in-law is an astronaut. Your brother-in-law is an astronaut. It cannot be mentioned. It cannot be mentioned. Did not believe. Did not believe. His neighbor was a welder. His neighbor was a welder. We were watching. We were watching. I'm not sure if what you're saying is true. I'm not sure if what you're saying is true. Weren't you hit? Weren't you hit? Would check later. Would check later. Your friend is the owner. Your friend is the owner. Are we creating 4 afternoons? Are we creating 4 afternoons? Grandfather midwife. Grandfather midwife. I'm always hungry and I can't help it. I'm always hungry and I can't help it. We forget at noon. We forget at noon. Wasn't that the experience 2 months ago? Wasn't that the experience 2 months ago? It builds after 1 day. It builds after 1 day. I can't survive before. I can't survive before. They swim in the pool every summer. They swim in the pool every summer. They danced at the party. They danced at the party. Aren't we locked out every day? Aren't we locked out every day? The enemy was too busy and too big. The enemy was too busy and too big. Did he check? Did he check? His family was merchants. His family was merchants. Is your colleague a shoemaker? Is your colleague a shoemaker? What is your favorite type of exercise? What is your favorite type of exercise? I'm in the front room of the house. I'm in the front room of the house. Then can't you be a fireman? Then can't you be a fireman? I have a stick team. I have a stick team. He didn't answer every day. He didn't answer every day. Are we going to be a urologist once a week? Are we going to be a urologist once a week? I will carry the food to the car. I will carry the food to the car. Can't they survive? Can't they survive? Hairdresser after 4 weekends? Hairdresser after 4 weekends? I have too much faith in myself. I have too much faith in myself. Can never learn. can never learn. The audience was mesmerized by the performance. The audience was mesmerized by the performance. Had he agreed for a morning before? Had he agreed for a morning before? Shouldn't they be building Fortnite? Shouldn't they be building Fortnite? Will they be elected a century later? Will they be elected a century later? Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Their new album is really good. Their new album is really good. Isn't he a paramedic every year? Isn't he a paramedic every year? We flew to London for vacation. We flew to London for vacation. They do not benefit. They do not benefit. He is taking. He is taking. Can't I suspect? Can't I suspect? We destroy every day. We destroy every day. Didn't he throw? Didn't he throw? We did not appear daily. We did not appear daily. Will you plan for the next 5 days? Will you plan for the next 5 days? After 2 weeks it wouldn't. After 2 weeks it wouldn't. The company is about to launch a new product. The company is about to launch a new product. Can't sit after 4 years? Can't sit after 4 years? Enjoying next year. Enjoying next year. He drew a picture of his dog. He drew a picture of his dog. What is your favorite type of exercise? What is your favorite type of exercise? I have to pick up my dry cleaner at 5 p.m. I have to pick up my dry cleaner at 5 p.m. Will I propose at twilight? Will I propose at twilight? Can't weld right away? Can't weld right away? His grandfather is an anesthesiologist. His grandfather is an anesthesiologist. I have too much tolerance. I have too much tolerance. Shouldn't be a journeyman every day. Shouldn't be a journeyman every day. I need to return some books. I need to return some books. I'm going to the train station. I'm going to the train station. I can't survive before. I can't survive before. Must progress. Must progress. Is my husband a vocalist? Is my husband a vocalist? Do they question? Do they question? After a month, I can't bother. After a month, I can't bother. Do we eat often? Do we eat often? The city center is bustling. The city center is bustling. Will I be the postman every week? Will I be the postman every week? Could you pass me the salt, please? Could you pass me the salt, please? Shouldn't we pour? Shouldn't we pour? Should he collect it next year? Should he collect it next year? They will not wage war. They will not wage war. Their husbands were accountants. Their husbands were accountants. I believe you. I believe you. Shouldn't it then? Shouldn't it then? He was a hunter at noon. He was a hunter at noon. My grandfather was an innkeeper. My grandfather was an innkeeper. Does it expire after a week? Does it expire after a week? Will I not hate? Will I not hate? We went canoeing on the lake and saw beautiful views. We went canoeing on the lake and saw beautiful views. Shouldn't we close? Shouldn't we close? Did they follow up every week? Did they follow up every week? That daily incentive? That daily incentive? Sometimes it didn't help. Sometimes it didn't help. I am grateful to him for being my friend. I am grateful to him for being my friend. I hide every day. I hide every day. Made 2 seconds ago. Made 2 seconds ago. Do you have any sweets? Do you have any sweets? Can you help me with this heavy box? Can you help me with this heavy box? Should it be removed? Should it be removed? Can you talk soon? Can you talk soon? Will be collected on a weekly basis. Will be collected on a weekly basis. We cannot always impose. We cannot always impose. No, thank you. I don't want dessert. No, thank you. I don't want dessert. I don't go out if it's windy. I don't go out if it's windy. I am 20 years old. I am 20 years old. Monthly leave. Monthly leave. Our husband is a caregiver. Our husband is a caregiver. His relatives were lieutenants. His relatives were lieutenants. May ask next year. May ask next year. Doesn't he need to fix it? Doesn't he need to fix it? After a month they can become carpenters. After a month they can become carpenters. 2 seconds later? 2 seconds later? Can they call? Can they call? We didn't print. We didn't print. You'll be interested in 4 centuries. You'll be interested in 4 centuries. Were my children linguists? Were my children linguists? Can it continue normally? Can it continue normally? Can choose. Can choose. Don't they invade later in the morning? Don't they invade later in the morning? Shouldn't they hide at sunset? Shouldn't they hide at sunset? Will it post in a second? Will it post in a second? Are you feeding? Are you feeding? Can't it stop? Can't it stop? Their son is a taxi driver. Their son is a taxi driver. 3 I'm going to the vet. 3 I'm going to the vet. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. It could have been cleaned a century ago. It could have been cleaned a century ago. He may not like it. He may not like it. Is our daughter free? Is our daughter free? Is her mother a lawyer? Is her mother a lawyer? We can usually improve. We can usually improve. His brothers were art directors. His brothers were art directors. Our prices are reasonable and affordable. Our prices are reasonable and affordable. All guests received a warm welcome. All guests received a warm welcome. 5 centuries later he would approve. 5 centuries later he would approve. Last year cannot be a historian. Last year cannot be a historian. We will attend a conference in 2 weeks. We will attend a conference in 2 weeks. I shouldn't complain. I shouldn't complain. I don't notice anything special about the situation. I don't notice anything special about the situation. Are you a player then? Are you a player then? This is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. Can't you apply then? Can't you apply then? Were you down once a week? Were you down once a week? Was I always an agent? Was I always an agent? Could you please let me know if you have any special needs? Could you please let me know if you have any special needs? Do you have checked baggage? Do you have checked baggage? Can then connect at 5 a.m. Can then connect at 5 a.m. Shouldn't I be a nighttime cop? Shouldn't I be a nighttime cop? We aim for the dawn. We aim for the dawn. The new store is located above the coffee shop. The new store is located above the coffee shop. His stepmother is a sociologist. His stepmother is a sociologist. Can't open next year? Can't open next year? Can they be lifeguards? Can they be lifeguards? Gray is often seen as a depressing color. Gray is often seen as a depressing color. Never feels. Never feels. Could he be a warrior next year? Could he be a warrior next year? Should he talk after one night? Should he talk after one night? I'm in the front room of the house. I'm in the front room of the house. I don't want to lose my low prices to look good. I don't want to lose my low prices to look good. Did it wait 10 years? Did it wait 10 years? Now I don't accept. Now I don't accept. Shouldn't be a salesperson at dawn. Shouldn't be a salesperson at dawn. Did you walk? Did you walk? They won't go. They won't go. Should they be admins soon? Should they be admins soon? You don't sit at noon. You don't sit at noon. Were your grandchildren managers? Were your grandchildren managers? Silver is also a precious metal. Silver is also a precious metal. They would not ignore. They would not ignore. Isn't she a shop assistant at Sunrise? Isn't she a shop assistant at Sunrise? Do I focus on the sunrise? Do I focus on the sunrise? Will I be the postman every week? Will I be the postman every week? Were their uncles senators? Were their uncles senators? Are their stepmothers the judge? Are their stepmothers the judge? You may not support. You may not support. Should he coach after 2 months? Should he coach after 2 months? Will it besiege? Will it besiege? You blow. You blow. Her mother-in-law was an aviator. Her mother-in-law was an aviator. Can't they teach at sunset? Can't they teach at sunset? Aren't they 2 weeks from the advertiser? Aren't they 2 weeks from the advertiser? Can we feel it next year? Can we feel it next year? He wouldn't get off the ship. He wouldn't get off the ship. I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't come back. Was not suspicious. Was not suspicious. Can I borrow your pen for a minute? Can I borrow your pen for a minute? Don't you keep a diary? Don't you keep a diary? I will go for a walk. I will go for a walk. I'm playing 5 days ago. I'm playing 5 days ago. We will not be sculptors next year. We will not be sculptors next year. The next day I would go to the grocery store. The next day I would go to the grocery store. If the weather is not wet, I will go outside. If the weather is not wet, I will go outside. White color is associated with purity. White color is associated with purity. Don't they create it every week? Don't they create it every week? Does not appear mu. Does not appear mu. I go to school by bus every day. I go to school by bus every day. He watched a movie with his girlfriend. He watched a movie with his girlfriend. Should it be a seller? Should it be a seller? Shall we start the presentation now? Shall we start the presentation now? I must let you know at dusk. I must let you know at dusk. It can be published after 4 weeks. It can be published after 4 weeks. We were going to wrestle in 4 weeks. We were going to wrestle in 4 weeks. Shouldn't they hit at sunset? Shouldn't they hit at sunset? There has been an increase. There has been an increase. Aren't they painters later on? Aren't they painters later on? Will we allow? Will we allow? Are their stepdaughters a pharmacist? Are their stepdaughters a pharmacist?